Just a quick PSA. Don't eat anything when you watch this movie. The more you know. Okay, you guys. Oh my gosh. Okay. It's because I just finished watching something. All right. So I have a good reason. I just forgot to take them out. All right. Bones and all. When I first saw the trailer for this movie, I thought it was about vampires. So I was immediately interested. Then later, I find out it's about cannibals. And that made me not interested because that's just disgusting, y'all. It's just disgusting. And it is to most people. Then someone asked me if I was going to watch this movie because they wanted to know what I thought about it before they decided to watch it or something like that. And okay, pressure, you guys. Then I felt like, all right, maybe I should watch it after all. I saw that this movie was getting great reviews, not just among, official critics, but general audience members, specifically on, let's say, IMDb and Metacritic. Now, on Rotten Tomatoes, the audience member score is not as high. It's about in the low 60s, I think. And I completely understand why, you guys. At the same time, I understand why the movie has the score that it does, the high score that it does. This is a beautifully acted film. It's beautifully shot. The story is told in a pretty good, solid manner. The characters are interesting. And despite the fact that they eat human beings, you're still kind of drawn to them in a weird way. And I think part of that is because the main actor, her character's name was Marin. She's very conflicted about what she is. There's David Gordon Green. I got triggered when I saw him because I had flashbacks of how annoyed I am about Halloween kills and ends. No, I'm just joking. I actually did know that he was going to be in here. And so then when he showed up, I was like, oh yeah, that's right. He's in here. Okay, whatever. Side rant. She's conflicted about what she is, and she doesn't want to hurt people, but she's got this need to feed or whatever. And she finds out things about her past that she didn't know about. And this movie is really, it's this weird mixture of different genres. It's romance, it's character drama, it's a road trip story, and it's suspense and a bit of horror too. Horror in the sense that you're talking about cannibals, freaking cannibals, okay? And that alone is like, despite how captivating these characters were in certain aspects, you just can't get that out of your brain. And because of that, I felt this disconnect between myself and these characters. I think the filmmakers did about as good of a job as they could to make them sympathetic characters to an extent, or to make them seem relatable, or that you could understand in a way what they're going through. They're misfits in society. They don't fit in. They're trying to keep their situation a secret from the rest of society because, hello, most people aren't okay with the fact that someone wants to eat another human being for reasons. But there's something that happens at the end. And I felt like the movie was solid enough up to the end, and then this thing happened at the end, and I kind of knew that portions of it were going to happen because you know this is a recurring issue throughout the movie. And then at the end, when this particular final thing happens, you're supposed to, I guess, feel a level of sympathy or empathy or whatever, but because of the situation and just the overlying sort of theme of this whole story, it doesn't garner the sympathy in me that maybe the filmmakers were hoping for. And I don't know, maybe they weren't. Maybe, but I mean, I saw a headline in an article that I was looking at right before I started filming this, and it was saying how that Bones and All has the most heartbreaking ending of the year or something like that. And I was like, no, I mean, I get why you say that and why you're going there with that, but because of this little thing called cannibalism, it's not quite as heartbreaking as maybe it was supposed to be. Not for me anyway, because like I said, even though these characters are captivating in a sense, this problem that they have keeps this emotional distance. And so because of that, I couldn't identify with them on the level that I think the story is hoping that you can, or is trying to get you to identify with them on. And I'm trying to be vague in case you guys have interest in watching this. I have mixed feelings about it because there are parts about it that really held my attention and that really drew me in. And a lot of that has to do with the performance and just the odd situation of everything, and how they could take something as off-putting as cannibalism and make a story that pulls you in and makes you want to see what's going to happen with these characters, and actually, in a sense, makes you want the best for them. But yet at the same time, because of this thing, you feel a bit repulsed by it. Well, more than a bit, quite a bit. There are some really nasty scenes in here of cannibalism, and if you are squeamish at all about stuff like that, I'm just giving you a warning. Now, it's not prevalent throughout, but it is there. And I did happen to be eating supper at the time. That was a mistake. So I stopped eating and just let the film continue to play out without eating anymore. Anyway, I just wonder why this film got a big screen release. I honestly feel like it might have performed better if it had just gone straight to streaming. I don't know. It didn't do well at the box office. I can understand why. I get it. It's disturbing. It's disgusting. It's about people that are on the fringes of society. Misfits finding each other, trying to deal. And in a sense, you could look at this as sort of like a symbolism for other types of issues or struggles that people have to deal with in their life that make them like a misfit in society. Let's say drug abuse, mental issues, different things. But because they're not relatable as human beings to other human beings, it makes it difficult. I think this was a hard sell for most audience members. Now, it's very possible that the reason this wasn't a big thing was because maybe the two main actors, Timothy Chalamet, whatever the heck his name is, and the main girl, gosh, I can't remember her name. She was a really good actor. They all did a really good job. Maybe they're just not big name enough to draw people in. There's something about Timothy Chalamet that, if I'm pronouncing his name, I'm just going to call him Timothy. There's something about, that might not even be the right way because he's got two E's at the end with an accent. Whatever. There's something about him that is a little strange. Like I can recognize that he's a good actor, but there's something about him that almost sits wrong with me. Like I just don't mesh well with him, even though I'm watching him and I can recognize that he's a very good actor. And I don't know if it's just his physical appearance, because he has a striking and different sort of look, or if it's like I get this weird feeling of disconnect, as if he is removed from the character he's playing, as if he's not really in it. And it's weird. I cannot put my finger on it, you guys. I cannot. I just can't. But I have picked that up in every single performance I've seen of his, even if it's something that like, let's say Dune. I mean, he was fine in Dune. There's nothing wrong with his performance, but I just get like there's just something that doesn't sit completely well with me about him. And I don't exactly understand why. It's weird. But I'm just wondering if the reason that this wasn't huge at the box office is because of the subject matter, or because the two main actors just aren't huge draws, or maybe a combination of both. I don't know, but I really wonder about the big screen release of this, and wonder about the logic behind it. We have a movie like Glass Onion, which I think would have continued to do quite well on the big screen, but it was only there for about a week because Netflix then pulled it because it's going to go to Netflix in December. And then we have this that was on the big screen for a bit, not a huge amount of time, but this week is the last week it's going to be at my theater. And I don't understand the reasoning behind movie studios when it comes to what films they put on the big screen and what films go direct to digital or streaming service or whatever. Anyway, some cool things about this. It takes place in the 80s. It definitely felt very 80s. Not like big hair 80s, but it definitely just had that 80s feel. And they played an a-ha song on there. An a-ha song that you don't often hear, but it was kind of biggish back in the day. The sun always shines on TV, so that was cool. I was just glancing over the rest of my notes, and the stuff that I wrote down here, a lot of the stuff that I wrote down here involves things that are spoilers. So I'm not going to get into that, but I do want to say that it was really weird to see Mark Rylance. He played in The Outfit, and he played such a completely different character. And in The Outfit, that was the first movie that I noticed him as an actor. And then I see him in this, and he's so unlike his character, and he's so creepy. It's just, I don't like seeing him play roles like this. I want to see him play more like the characters, like how he did in The Outfit, but he was really, really weird. So that was a whole thing to get used to. But also something that I noticed more than halfway through is that I started off not really liking her character too much, not really liking his character too much, and probably about maybe 2/3 or 3/4 of the way in, I did start to like my feelings. I recognized that my feelings had evolved, and I did come to care for them in a sense. And so that was just something that stuck out to me. I just remember noticing, oh, I kind of sort of like these characters now in a weird way, sort of, kinda, but not completely. But it was weird. It was just weird. The whole thing was weird. Oh, and another thing I have to say, if you're disturbed by seeing snot come out of someone's nose and then being sucked back up, or if you're disturbed by slobber coming out of someone's mouth, I'm warning you, this happens at least twice in this movie, and I noticed it and it was gross. I wasn't eating, and I'm glad I wasn't. That was nasty. Okay, whatever. I get real grossed out by stuff like that. But anyway, just to wrap it up, do I regret watching it? No. Would I watch it again? No. My main takeaway from this is these characters were interesting to an extent, but the fact that they were cannibals kind of prevented me from completely clicking with them and identifying with them on a human level. And I recognize that the filmmakers were trying to make this all sentimental and romantic, but I'm just not. It's just not something I can identify with. I'm not sure many people can. And if you are really, really disturbed at the subject matter of cannibalism, you might want to stay away, because although it's not, you don't see imagery about it constantly throughout the movie, you do see it enough to really skeeve you out. And just the fact that that's what these people are, it's just like it's this cloud that hangs over the story and the characters. And if you think that's going to be something that just is of no interest to you, I can completely understand why. And yet at the same time, if you are interested or drawn in by characters that are unique and characters that have these very severe flaws about them. I mean, these are people that you are, throughout the course of the story, you come to understand that this is just the way they are. They actually cannot help it. Yet at the same time, it's a little bit difficult to grasp that reality in their world. So it's like what I mean when I say that you can't really easily identify with them. But whatever, this review probably makes no sense. I would say if you don't mind the subject matter overly much, check it out. You may find that you love this film a ton more than I did. I did not hate this movie. I didn't hate it. But it's so disturbing. That's all you can think about. And it interferes with your ability to enjoy the characters maybe as much as you would like to. But yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I don't know what else to say to kind of accurately express the confusing mess and muddle of thoughts that were going through my brain as I watched this film. I'll certainly never forget it. That's for sure. And she's definitely on my radar because of her performance in here. She was very good. This is the first time I've noticed her as an actor. And yeah, a weird twisted love story with tragic-ish conflicted characters who do things that no normal or sane human being would ever want to do. It's just, I don't know. It's this hurdle I just can't get past. But at the same time, I kept watching. So, oh well, I'm sure that's clear as mud. But I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up because I've meandered on about it long enough and I need to get this edited. I hope this answers your question. To the person who asked if I was going to watch this, I hope this answers your question, but it might not. Totally up to you. It's probably out of the theaters now. By the time this review goes up, it's probably gone. So I'm sure you'll be able to catch it very soon on digital if you want to check it out. I don't see any of these things to dissuade you from watching it because you might appreciate it a lot. I appreciated it, but there was this barrier. There was this barrier that kept me from loving this movie like, oh, Top Gun Maverick, all right? Anyway, okay, I think that's it. I'm going to wrap this up. We'll see you guys later. Adios.